Rice Value Chain Transformation Project is an investment operation financed by the African Development Fund grant with an initial phase and aims to scale up production, productivity, value addition and producing imports of rice in the Gambia.
Nim project la relationship oni aketanya yiru akubaleti katun ibina aja wato me ya tarambe dokula jam for almost 3 years. So 3 years okono ka kole aku jama sotoje menketa turo jambando ani masingolo so wakan konyo kole aku bale bar kabring project oni nata so ni sanji fulo kono ye makoy kole aku yo talankam bake ko si makoy turolto ye makoy jambando to ye makoy masingoto pawatila so woyena kole akul talale aka doko sone andimbulu ada doko nyim fana yiri wandile ayena soto fana yiri wandi yo projet ko la woyen kontani woyen ma koy fana ngana fame soto je wala mo ayena soto yiri wandile because wato ninka mano ninka sene jambandi ko kam batandi ni nyanda boto tanne soto la because ibuka jambando soto no anyama ka boto lul la soto bari kabrin projet ko nyin nada pour aka yiru anyin kafle because jambando nyi mendi molla mo be ka jambando sotole at the right time wati killing kono aka seno ni katiro ko doron ibajale ni ta ka boto lullo soto kabrital nata la ma ko ro ka boto tan soto
brini nyi projet to yombulo du nyobulu aketanteli ye kayra kubaleti ani yiruwo katon wato menna projet to manna nka bata dal sotole molu buka tere kankilin nka tere waliri nyolale kabrim projet to nata nka li farojele abe nyame abe kankilin abe be tembe kilin o ketanye kontan kubaleti bi ni nasi tabi mbele binala ngatinya nyoka nya mote motula bar wato to jani projet to be na sanji fula ko manto o ketanye bata da baleti katun turol manke kilenti mbuka tere tembe kilenti do ta be jamfarin do bata tutula yala wolte mono la nyola da brim projet to nata ni e bulodu nyobul aketanye kankilin kambe ngoleti mbebe tembe kilin ngoleto o mo kontan ku baleti ni projet to yinde brim ni e bulodu nyobul aketanye sewoleti ani yirwo ani nyatota katun turol la karola folo bawni amoy faro muturoleti turo folo ketanye kontan ku baleti nga tuwo sotole menketa tur kendolti mbega soto nyola mo man modan yaajele mo man modan mbebe tembe kilin ani no fana nakarola yende man noto bakele no ko non to ka kenye kolya kubaleti e kajele ila firfon katala si tembe do ta nyanta no sotola ni asembote te bulu fo ya trale jani ba sotola be membulo bete dannale ye londo men dinna wotumo tuturo la karola e kajele ma karan wato me ni bina iteni la dimbayal bele bina dinnol ta tutula nyama bari yen karandi tuturo la karola anin na senefon nyanta no soto la wato men anin nyanta amounto men kelala as anyanta dan tembe jumale to ma fumandi amantinya wo ketanye bata ku wo ketanye kontan ku baleti ngo wo fana londo soto ibulula ni la buldu nyobulla alinga wakili ngata na kunkolto ngam fama nyol teremento menketa seno la karolati berintel ninyi kom moli embulo du nyobula ketantel ye yiru woleti katun folo baluwo wo mandasa nga baluwo soto la timmade ngo bawo sanji fula ko mato jani ni be nyo soto la akakenye kole yakuba ba brini ye bulo du nyobulla baluwo la karo soniata ikajele musol kela kunkol bondile kunkundion bondile farandion bondile mbe menkela ni be kunkoto ni malo be ku ila dimbayate konkola ni amwe ba fula farnyo ko li ata nyimbuka soto malole te kum dukare mbe mbadi musol dani ali ngata do ku woke manola karola inyabe nyi mano men na tenyi kafo nyine ororox nyi mu marsi kende baleti mano me ala aseniata ay jata saha soto katun tel musol ni ngajon tel lebe ko ba ko mal dobe jeti ba mal dobe da ni ba tabila foyela time le taye bero mesion tombonje ani fe mesion bari nyi malo ni nyi tu nyi be seni ari ne non te je fempenten tel fa le adoku ngalo ne ngamenke je
je ko nyin na demaro ba kendilale abe konko bayla sate diwli kan abe konko bayla base banko kan abe konko bayla Gambia banko kan fonsi fentano ngawa fu dunia kon mbe jikiri wala projet ko nyin damu tanya ni tententa wanyama mbe jikiri ne ko mbe konko bayno lal Gambia jang adum be mano bondi no lal Gambia kawa fu dunia kon projet ko nyin ay tarambulo men dati na tententa wanyama Rice Value Change Transmission Project yendema adila demaro man jutunu ala comme nga faale nyami yembondi killing kam futande fula njikta ko simbondi no la fula ko take en sambande saba fokata fotang so woto wokamma nitel be tenten kan nga jiki ko na batabe talala wokamma mba fole ko sanji lulu projet kolom ban be lafla menna wala ila sanji lulu be banna dawda ye kacha ye bulu la fanye ka siandi sanji luluti ni a siandi sanji luluti tumado o sitan sambandi no nyato katambi mbetembo menna it can support jambandolale it can support turolale ha bari can support jambando menna itel yadin tel kan swala bantel fanal ka demande la kan ndam moye ka for example ni jambando boto dina yalla jambandi boto be yalla wulikilin nin dolam te ni sanji fulo kono dal wulikilin nin do sayinde ka di nyola kemi woro sonka men soto je nka wala landina account to bank so membe lari account to bank tuma do ite la sanji lulo nyin kono te mala wala bar tuma do ni te la sanji lulo banta o be ma ko la bake satam falsi kudor keno o tuma itel man itela demaro o kuntutanna ha adun pro men fana ka dinna itel kante swalal e ka kafo swalal e community swalal bari itel ka turo nin di nyola don torolti ni ngadi nyola don troti ni ngadi nyinna o se ala sisino banta ayajo ni bari muso fana ngajo do ko te ngajo libe yajo nka wolle kafu nyoma ke samba na stokon so wot fanan mumbulu food security lam o kay wato wati abe mbulla kam ma koy bakele pour min kam sinin ni tel bulo man tari koto asatari mfansun trol be mbulu mfansi mendi no nyola momen be janga be kanyandi mo keme nani ani mo tannani ani worowula musoni kewma Rice Value Change mbe duale ntel meño soto folo mbe duala fo alasi makoy fonsi fanali ñong soto no mensi makoy ke bulo dun koto bari mbe lafla men wala mo yela sanji lulo na banta ya tentendi e nyodani ka tentendi mbe tembo men to fonsi sawñin tembo la ngata ñato comme mbe ya hamme ñame faske wonya wala mo ka konko bay Gambia fereng dol karna o darina Gambia mano to ka samba dunia lafta wala nyim mano ate nyim mano nyim memfele nyi ikatel kuma ni Orlok 6 ni Orlok 6 na atari itela dimbaya kamani poti tanne bondi ila dimbaya alon ko ni Orlok 6 ni venin domo kan ibe mani poti woro wula la bondi la ila dimbaya because of niyaduma kafute fa konoto akifa adu hana banyin kensa sisi ala yadum duran sifa kala so sifa kala akadi andi wonyalam manu nyin diata serata.
For the past 2 years, this project has registered significant milestones in achieving its aims and objectives. The program focuses on 3 components: production and productivity enhancement, agribusiness, market and capacity development, and project management. Launched in November 2019, the first phase of the project is being implemented over a period of 5 years and ends in 2024, with interventions predominantly in the Central River region, North and South, and the Upper River region.
ndele mo jahal pajar la president Rice Farmers Cooperative Society la president ndele kontanta bake ñin projet ko la kola ñin projet ko la na ñin nan tema ndele bonde ko yal mun kono kata ko mun sonande ntelema na nafa mun soto je musa fa jam foti lo boy dantala katum bi folo bi ntelu ñin sañi folo mun tambe be ko tan ñin sañi folo men na ko mbako ten ñin projet ko la ñin na ay kata ko mun samana jaaye falen ni folo ndelu jang ay ko bo sonandi moli ñin projet ko ko moli turo ay sonandi moli jambando ay sonandi moli ñin projet ko yo samana moli na jan kununa ko boko kembul problem moti ani turo o ke kembul problem moti bankon kan ani jambando bi ala sonandi bi ñin projet ko la fanala ñin sanni fulo wujo kono nana fa ku basol je kadum folo e kaji jambando mun di mola janin turo ani ko bo mun ke moliye ayati na ka bontel to katabula musolda molu diwnu bi alla kitudo bi wo beela nafam mo betu nele karambe sonala bi ala ko lankila ko la ani projet ko karu wo manole ninga jambando mun di mola ni wo turo lido ani ko bo naketa nko jambando wo manole tatan ka tu nga diwna karamun jo walla so ko musukunda musol ke diwna fa na karamun jo walla ba ko araka mbul sewoti ba ke ni na nafantele nta dan fonola anara londo so ko kono mu yalna ko nta adam fonola because ñin projet ko ñin ayam faham yandile ayam hamendile ayati na seru dol lam futa ñin projet ko kam bi wo be bultala bi alhamdulillah rabbil alamin ñin projet ko akatam lu ñon tawnati ñin projet ko bidana ta jang folo ayena fahamundo ayala fa bake beri man seno la fannala londo fa na fannala ani kan kafu ñoma maka kilinti ñin man seno ñin projet ko le wo samman antele na jang fo nga fama fe school so je mol ka kafu ñoma fo mo tan saba ñong sata go kurbo kasoto wakake mol bul nemoti ndamon ka nyolong nga fen ka fu nyoma akati na fananko bi o bundal men ko fama school bunda nyin ayat na bi mol ka bulo fanyo kan ka fendi landi pour ni projet ko to kerim fanan nsem pa sambana wala ni projet ko yo be ka nyimo le nyim banku kanja ni projet ko la fanna bi dana ta jang ay na famun ken teliye nta dan fono la karam folo seru nga kalen disiti min kar jang kalen wuro min ka jang ñin projet ko la kemoli jahala ni pachare ñin projet ko ya be buri moliye wakata mol bulu sewote wona fa soto na fa mun yalla ko banko bele mun fala fadu banko bele mun fala jahal pachare bele mun fala amanda woda manna ni ñi mano do ko na pareta bi ñam fo kombo fo kasamasi be ke balo ñi mano la woto ñin projet ko na fa ko mobi ka adam fo no ye kara ko ke moliyele bi mol kam fantarandi simon la fanala ñi rise value change itale o samana jang kunu mol kam milale mbe bula faro ko ñamima katu munamu ni be murbe la faro ko ne ke milale jambando o ko be kala nyaadi de aka o kati ne kala fudo ko la ba bi res value change nata ayati nabi mo be ka mo nyininka mo be koronto tilkan do ko preka bula ka do ko kadu ina exemple flo aflana rabina jambando ko koleta ni banko kam atambita janninna jambando janni masa ko lata ka futa ba ala ki dioto res value change la molu ko le molu ma birin ko kuma sita e wulda le tar jambando ni nang e jambando sama nang e mo la jambando diala bi wala farol be yarin tan ibe ni nyaare wona fa ni folo ha dan taw dambanna o kayen dan telma because ko le ko mben kan banku kan jang asembo ni watal wala ni del tara don e mo ma ko boto yemma ko turoto o kola ina da munna fra ka jambando sama nang jambando ko yarin san kana di mo la free ka di sen la ka doku ka di free mo le ka na farol kon woto dambat na hanna da ndang damma fona we kabando banko beere ani karo
value ken ila projet ko nyinnana alhamdulillah nga ala tentuje asana si secteria wala be lorim banko nyin kan wala mo jatiolti tout programme nyinna karola andu wala kata karandir laltin tolye we atra ko ni wala be do ko wala ni mom wala fatu do ko le kata wala ya pour que mo dila ini min si tur do ko keno walen karandilen ni meta do ko nyin kono yo barbudon rise value ken la nyinna kabriye mako de maro min din tolla o de maro manke koy de maro dronne din tolla ni be kafri nyo fe de maro nyin kono tu NSS min nyanta kelan tol ma turu do ko kono kabri nga turu nye ye man turu nyin natinan ye man turu nyin bonna han fo african rice le ya natina la turu folo ye wala ta ya di mo lo fonkara kata ku jamalati ko se ya jonam DHL ya natina wala e turu nyin di mo la awatola kabire turo indi molla nga turo njanja nga kuifola o kuifo fana kabire nga la ning projet ko la molni enesin kol be wultananne pour kana kanna kuifol nyiluta ke jube ye kuifol nyil jube alhamdulillah kuifole nya bo toro je narana tuturo nyinta ngake nga ko we ko bo nyin kenye to le ko bo nyin dépense ya kenye kabiri nga yoke narana tuturo nyinta ngake wo kon la fana ene sun kolu be mfe be turo nyi ba monito la mfe tunkun nin tunkun nim bada kuifala to yo jube mfe wo kara nyama narana tuturo to yo fana jube mfe ngaka nyama kana han fo mano bita faabe futala tembo min do ibe mfele dron inin projet ko molu ndabga projet ko nyim fona ado dum directo nyin ibukatu koma ana bele kay bi bele kana pour que kafum fe faro kono wodo ko nyin kon le jambando nyin kenyile to le ko bo kenye jambando kay tro nyin di molla andu dabe kafrim fe do ko nyin fanan kono hamido ala nyabu nyin natna wara bake kukil na karo kabirin tata fonga kole ko nyin soto do ko la karo min keta busaro la karoti ndol mam projet ko nyin ta medani bari la projet ko la manager nyi min kala lam fata joti ate fona na ay molla condition nyin cross faro kono kajube ka ko do ko nyin ko la tambulu bake atna hamenya ko sai almasiw nyin tebe masiw embe ko do nyin talal mba jola pour mano kana kasara bari trolam ale do ko nyinke narana masiw nyin alhamdulillah projet ko le o masiw nyin ta ke jomoli pour nga do ko nyin ta ngake do ko e sone ambulo kono anena man so do projet la jang e ka dinnale isim mako do ko barbu ni nda fumfata manan ko nyin dato sai to le minno si wala kay barbu nyin do ya fansa signele ko alnyinke mbakelale ay riskita ayata ayake alhamdulillah mbota kono nge jayi wala nge tento andu nga nafa ku jamale fanan soto ako nyin kono ko ndolle kada projet ko nyin jati foloti nyin banko nyin kan kabiri dara enes ko enes ko yo wole ni blodu ndi nyo kono nga do ko nyinke ijati folom kedan tollete kabiri ko nyinke da fo wena biyanto han kabin tol bela nafa drone kono ala de maro nyin kan ha bela de maro nyin kono ala de maro kan to folo e karandiro le kenye yen karandile turo nyanta do kula nyaadila nin turo nyanta manan kunna nyaadile ani mun nyanta kala turo nyinna yen karandi wala le ko yindar aseneyata yo ye de maro nyin fana ibe mako kan de maro la bay maralo bundala ku jama bije ibe de ma kan ala yo projet ko nyin fana na karolo wal fana na kam mako birin jambando to lombang hannin ko do kodima projet ko ye mako atole ko sunna suralo nyin na karola idun danye kula je mi yalon ko asembo warata yo ke molele flanja nyi sabanja nyin fana ntolla nyin turdo ko kono ayem bondi tunkuneta ayem frandi tunkanto ko ay nafa jamale din tol fon la sate ko na jang bi development je nyin sate nyin ko na jang asunda nyin do ko wala bar abebe nyin turdo ko ka folla kay turdo ko la kono sate nyin fanan na fenko nyi tañato anin sate wala manan kum fanan abeso tanyin turdo ko la kono
na turdo ko ka fola vai fes dano na fami alon asiatan telefonti because kafonyi mbiri ngalo anin sante mon ni projet ko mi yem bulo di nyola ngala tentu la ngeje yi bak because biri nga ado ko nyon commence menketa price value change biri ni yem bulo di nyola anin turu yirwandi kafo menketa city ika turo sambana molie ni ka do ko ke turo nin jambandolu nka senoke ikana kata kufo fendi kam mako yala ibe noma wato wati be tandiri kala mollam fana albe sayre mbe sawarli de banso fofo nin sula tala isi mako yala min keta jamban dolti ani ku kotengol isi bulan noma farol kono kanna do ku feol jube fo abinyama abita kun kan o amantara ta kun ka nisul be kacha na boto la fana mano ta da famota e kam makoy karo ni ngani manol do ku foka pare tele kana muri ka samol so ni asa e ka samul ma price ken dola ndun kan na muna fon ke je ni la mano te ya sam bafta ko te na muru ya san yekko di ba soto je yela balu bondi je la dindu la karambu joje ku jama haji na tara bieta kunto bayri te nyine do ku puri la ha ila haju ila balu ani la haju son ka keno wol bietile so yati na muna fon wartan tel bulu bakele projet ko nyina karo
be biranata ngana fa ba me soto jeto ana fa warta akuma atan teliye ka to nyina ko yata nyaaw nyandi tele jambando soto le man ko do bondi ay nga jambando sotole adu ye masri di mo la nyina nga tuturu komo kala na do ko ata nyina ya tari atale saw don kan nda mano kala fi wulula lodula bar nyina na mano mawulu ilo dulato na mano li leftala nyame nga soto wo nyamale ni ras bali ci dalto fen fono la nyidi ka do ay kafu kanunte ya dindi ndam mangal tema.
From its buyback initiative of certified seed production from seed growers in Jahali, Madinamfali, Sukuta, Saruja and Wellingara and Maruo farms, the project has significantly contributed to the local economy by providing a sum of over $17 million in the farm families of the rice seed growers, which would have been spent on certified rice seed import from other African countries.
Alhamdulillah, rice value change birina ta kakafuntele makantar seno kono ikata multimillion lan ko yende ma bag ila demaro sembo warta demaro nyim fanan amanna karakilindi akata kara jamalati because follow ya folondi ni turola karola fertilizer la karola kobola karola alhamdulillah ina ta fanan sai yemma koy bake fenito million ko wala mun nyontangati ndella jeroto adu nga kalamutal fanan ko nyontangalam wala mun fenti wala mun gas gonte ni gas gon briana tintele janyinan alhamdulillah ayende ma bake because follow de maro follow to damina ayendinna dindingul la karango kenya aya sonan dimbul bake bari dindingul la karambu jama nimmanul wuluta dindingul la karango buka nya sotno ibajele dindingul dol si ise separate dol kata karangala bi sinin doleta yikatar nyo falina mune ko sabu wala mu kunolti because ikaje ko kunol ka tinyaro minke o tinyaro nyin akanna soto na sindi bakele akatinna ko kalafinyi na pour dindingul tar kantarola katu kebal dam mbo ka kantaro keno wo kamma sayin dindingul felante birin gas gon sotota alala demaro kan na musol follow wol dahata idahata kantaro la faro kon fulanjaw na dindingul fanalu ala dema ila karanga ya nya sotono dindingul karanga nya sotono dindingul la bata talata ko be talata somanda ke ba fanga ninata yenyin gas gon ni ya fixi faro to jang ita katale yetela hajola isitela hajo to bodo dindingul wayta la karanga la alhamdulillah o katanya ala tentu balati nyin gas gon la karola.
My name is Musa Dabo, work for Maruo Farms. Maruo Farms, of course, we are engaged in the local rice production, rice being our core, business. Even though we are into other things, but rice is our core, the business. We operate from CRR in Jahali Pacha. The rice value chain, we thank God as Gambian farmers for their involvement in the agriculture, the rice sector. So personally, when I say personal, I mean Maruo as a company. Rice value chain have helped in our seed production. They were able to help us with inputs like the actual foundation seeds and the fertilizer also. That has helped us initially a lot to be able to boost our seed production up. And apart from the seed production in-house help with Maruo, indirectly also Maruo benefited from that because they gave us seeds and fertilizers to so many of our outgrower farmers. And those people, they were able to have an increase in yield. Because of their increase in yield, they have some left over that Maruo is able to buy from them to be able to increase our stock in processing. And aside that, they also helped in with some, the machinery, like a harvester, power tillers, levelers, and then stuff like that. So those were very helpful also. Imagine having to do a lot of work and at the end of the day you cannot harvest. So those harvesters were very helpful too. And obviously the end of the value chain, you want to be able to package your rice and take it to the market. They've helped with the packaging also. We ordered about 80,000 bags of different denominations, and they helped out a lot, with that. So as far as Maruo is concerned, the name rice value chain did really stand out for us, because from inputs all the way to packaging, they were involved. So they are really a rice value transformation project, since they were involved in every link of the chain. Production and the dry season production are different, and also it depends on the number of outgrowers that we have, right? But overall is a very a substantial amount. But if we go per hectare, that will be more appropriate, like the average yield per hectare. As far as Maruo, we were able to yield about 6 to 7 tons per hectare, and that has to do with the involvement of the rice. The value chain. Imagine, without them, our production yield would have been very low, maybe half of that. So I think they did have a lot of impact. Last year it was 178 metric tons. This year we are working on about 411 metric tons, and that's all the seeds. That doesn't have much to do with the grain. Okay, so at the seed, yes, we know exactly how much we are producing, but for the grain, because of the outgrowers and because every season there is an increase in area, and I don't have the book here to tell you that, but for the seed, yes, it's 178 metric tons last year only from Maruo. This year we are working on 411 metric tons. They provide the foundation seeds. Then we use that foundation seeds to produce what they call certified seeds. Then those certified seeds now go to the other farmers as beneficiaries. A whole department called the National Seed Protectorate. Those are kind of more or less like the police in the seed production area. So through NSS, they will come during the plowing to do some inspection and give some advice during the transplanting, and the growth stage of the rice until harvest. Even at harvest, we wouldn't harvest if they don't come and then look at it and advise us. Well, you need to remove this. You know this is okay to harvest and all of those things. So and then the NSS. All their activities are being sponsored by the rice, the value chain. So in a way, rice value chain is helping in, to make sure even with the seed inspection. They have done very well, and they still continue to do well. I am looking forward to an extension of the rice value chain project. Gambia, we need a lot of this. And just doing it for 5 years or so, people are now more interested in rice production. Those, the new people have just begun to come in, so they shouldn't end here. They need to continue. It doesn't have to be Maruo, but they need to be able to encourage other people that want to be like the Maruo. So I think definitely I will urge the ministry or the banks to see how we can extend the activities of rice value chain project. What we need as Gambians, not projects can help, but and they are helping, but then we as farmers need to play our parts as well. Help is only after you've done your part, then the projects can help. They are they are willing to help. They are helping. They are looking out for innovative ways to help. So I would encourage more Gambians to come into this sector. This is the only sector where there is no competition at all. 100 of us can go into rice production as private farmers. We will still not feed this country. So we need more and more people to come in. there is help, and if they don't know, when they ask me, I can give them the number to anybody working with the rice, the value chain and other projects within the country.
My farm's name is Mira Farm. We've been in rice production for 1.5 years now, and to be honest, we cannot say thank you enough to the rice value chain transformation project. They've really set the foundation for us. They help us with information as much as possible, and at the same time they have provided us with farmers that we can work with, buy from. And the third one is they have also provided us with implements. When I first got into this business, I visited them and they were very open. They told me everything about the current state of rice production in the Gambia. That really gave me comfort in getting into the business. And whilst we started our production, they gave us rice, they gave us fertilizer, and they even helped us in getting the labor to get the work done at the fields, which is unprecedented in Gambian context. The second part was I was looking at doing extension farming, which is I will work with current farmers who have experience in rice production and buy from them. They facilitated that. We had meetings in CRR North, CRR South, and URR. And in the end, I ended up buying rice from CRR North and CRR South, equivalent to 15 tons of rice, which has been very, very helpful. And this all happened because of rice value chain. The third one is they helped us with equipment. I was able to get a reaper. I was able to get a power tiller from them. I was able to get a combine harvester from them as well. All these things really gave Mira Farm the comfort to get into rice production. Today we are at Sapo with 10 hectares and at Misira with 28 hectares. So this is all due to the help we are getting from rice value chain. It gives us the confidence that we can go and do more.
SMC Group Limited, Salif Mbalo and Children Group Limited, te komin liggoto ko ɗum woni ndema maaro ko he tundu witendu CRR ndu he saare witende Kerewan Samba Sira, te ko ndema maaro min joɗani ɗo tundu ɗo ko ɗum min joɗani he leydi ndi ko ɗum min joɗani he CRR ɗo. Rice value chain ɓe pili a very big role kulle walitagol minen private farmers ka he individual he public farmers all pour wallude ɗumen awdi he engrais he okkude ɗumen courage e support. Mi leɓi ɗum he meeting ngaji kewɗi komin mbatta to o ko hollude wonde maɓɓe ni dari darde ɓe poti darade nde te ɓe ni mbalito min particularly min personally ɓe mbalitimama kam parce que ɓe gokki kam awdi ɓe gokki kam engrais te toujours ɓe garat ɓe dara ko liggotomi ko est ce que miɗo waɗira ɗum no foti yarude ni kala e gokkal mumen ngal ɗini mawni balɗe ɓawoɗo ɓe nodduno minen ɓe gokki minen pawatilaji ka e combine harvester. Awdi ndi nde ɓe gokki minen ndi ko awdi wiitendi L19 ka he Orlos ko ndin awdi ɓe gokki minen. Min noon awdi ndi kala nde awdi ndi ɓe gokki kam miɗo awa ɗum te ɓeni gara kala ɓeni jiya ɗum hande sa a laari han a yii ɗo gonɗen ɗo ko Orlos won ɗo L19 won ɗo yeeso ɗa ko Orlos won ɗon. Maaro ko awdi ndi ɓe gokki kam ndi ko ɗum woni o variety ɗo o variety ko L19 wiite. ɗin woodi variety goɗɗo kala mbiteɗo Orlos ko ka en gokki minen ndin awdi e kono min kala hikka komin ndemi ko mi itti he ndin awdi tigi noon gokkumi yimɓe ɓe pour mi waɗa ɗumen encourage ka en kala kulle ɓe ndema. Hitande folo nde min puɗɗi faro minen mbaɗi estimate heɓgol 76 bags ɓay engrais o heɓama no fotira heɓirede ni ɗum woni 50 kg ɗi ka en 76 faro ɗum si a laari ɗum he plotaji nogas e nayyi ɗum ko good yield wonta e dow ɗum kala min demani tan pour ko min nyama ko min dema dum parce mi hallino yimbe be demal hona demal tan ko nyamta ko a nyama nyamminora njeya keba hen kales tetiti keba baraji to Allah because ayi do hay kullon kon di garadi ni nyama hen dum do fof ko tinnare watta dum to mi do nodda leydi ndi mi do nodda sukabe be youths di fo no be ndaro he demal be ndaro he ligagol leydi ndi ligagol leydi hona pour jodagol office tan woni ligagol leydi ngal demal di tawa e ligagol leydi c'est rise value change ko be mbatta ko dinin tawa he encouragement kulle yimbe be no ndaro kulle no badira leydi ndi develop minen kala ko ngosengo min pilirtani role ji amen di pour min ganda min beydi e national development te balde do di wodi programme jaho ko min be ngari be lamdi ho mi do wayi dumen yede awdi kulle ko be ngokka remobe be number of bag ko jemi dumen ko tan mi do andi always mi wadi made ko yata 100 and something thousand dum non ko just 2 plots afami just 2 plots 106,000 I wadi dum made just for 2 plots si tawi non aligima 100 plots ma 50 plots cikkuda how do you see that so demangal ko ma mbaden dum di wodi nafa di ton hona ko nyame tan te a nyamat te yimbe be di poti remde ko naadi weli o be ndemirta ko ma natten e demal si en demani enen belti fo en dema enen loobi to en demen tawa enen belti ba en kebi wallitobe wadobe en support pour no ndemiren min demi do yetti Allah mi do yetti rise value change because hodu wadi be ni ndari he walitagol remobe be asimin ko mi yi'ani dum hore am te ayi dum en kala be ni ngaraga faroga wattu fo wattu kabir nyande tunno mi do wondo wonta yontere be jottaaki do sikayi the type of varieties that I have after en jahat don ji'a the name of the varieties ko jureson mu'en no maro ko he mbelendi mu'en no woni fof dum tawadi nin hen project o ko project nafdo nafo kala tebeni pala ballal temi do tori lamu kala ko rise value change dabite jungo mu'en no be ngokku dum e access kulle be bawa wallude remobe be mi do nodda remobe be fop no min bad unai min keba toujours taminen kebbata mu'en meeting kala ko anda lamdoda kala turen mo mankinda so dat be ngokka yujjidi tiren be bawa andude ko hono be bawta wadde ha be bawa remde maro no fota remirede ni rise value change kabira na ta jang ay mol bondi kolya kono jambando la karola anin turo la karola rise value change kabira na din sanin tema sawo saka turo dile tilikando ka dile sama ko da ka dile nyimma no mbelora kono te e ka nyime turo di mol nyimmo airloxle nga airloxle do ku tilikando kono sama nga L19 do ku menjanga yata nyindi atilika parce que tariyatale.
The Rice Value Chain Transformation Project is not leaving the youths behind. The project has established 4 youth service centers which is geared towards prioritizing services to farmers through plowing, harvesting as well as producing for income generation. 32 youths were also trained on power tiller operation and 24 youths on mini combine harvester operations, thus enhancing their skills for self-employment.
I don't know about it because ni raji be serum na mano dokule na mun doku kabir nga wafi commercially na will money lose sort of 25,000 okono nkana dimba balundu jere nkana ndo manyo fona karambu nka jojere adun defon kan ha jama tamindi je so nyinang wa serum don fo jambando sam fayele nga turo sang na kobojo sa nyinang o batama na lankan ndunda benefit chance kono benefit rise value change project ntata mo kono miam ko munafa so project o power tiller di e combine harvester di e troll dinna e jambando di adun serum ngol be sana bar nyinang mol be sanol be di na la free so na expect ko nyinang ndum sorola hol be siala jartati kanu hanen na faro fond de variety this is Orodos. It's a very quality rice to mialanko ni asama market abukalo so ngaji ko nyinang mun chawne do mialanko ko do mbasoro de katambi seruna because serum na sahel le doku ba sahel ateni Orodos tekeno la klinde because ni dara domoro do bolo kono e be ni Orodos enjoy la nyaming e buka sahel enjoy nyama adun jama bije ni na market e kamun nyinga wolon Orodos variety Orodos ta type e la fa ko la sang wala na nyinang nko barnya Orodos dogu bari makedo kono customer katre nyinin ka bage because atelon quality rice ti wala nginan kabun dunda rice value chain transformation project ngaji ko eka turo mundi wala Orodos ti ani narika L19 adu nyilon quality mano dum yan ko sainteng eka tama marchero project o nyin akumada bagala because ni raji be Gambia jambi nsa 80% be ka balu manola la so ni raji project en ko ma fo ni raji be aka funding kele hammendi senola because opportunity bi je mu yalon ko abije pour funding ko le muna fa jamala sotoje ni nata sene jola la ma fona e ko provide le ni nata jambandol ni mano ma fa e ko provide ani nobody je ko dege project ni lafta fananko ase fendi muyananko ase funding ke encourage comme ye for youth center service lo nyami belefla yes e yata regional do to muyananko e man benefit isa kafuno funding ke se hamen no nyami dun do ko nyin kono adu mano nyin fana belefla project o nyaamu introduce tang ni youth service center da fe barakata maybe hanmano gambe ba import la but in future ibayro ko abetalal and also fana abe nyum baku eta nyum fanan abatala because abe doko sonen da funding ke jamala bulu mianke se doko ku jang yele dimbal balundi stage hani mata dulato so project o nyi tol na content bakel be temple be jayla nafa da manne be ani banko be adu mano ka doku nela do foye balu adu na wafita fanan sodoje nsene dimbala karambunjo ila jara kendialu anu balu fanan o kumata je bagal.
The first phase of the project is being implemented over a period of 5 years, 2019 to 2023, with interventions predominantly in the Central River region, North and South, and the Upper River region. The project will contribute to poverty reduction and enhance economic growth in the Gambia through improved production, processing and marketing of rice, as well as reducing high importation of rice into the country. Development and commercialization of the rice subsector by enhancing private sector and other stakeholders' participation in the value chain is key among the project's priorities. This will help improve income and employment opportunities for all stakeholders, especially youths and women. About 15,000 households, out of which about 40% are youth and women, will directly benefit from the project. These include farmers, processors, seed producers, input dealers, aggregators, private sector operators, transporters, and commercial agents. Example, outgrowers, millers, etc.
As a service, unit, we are also an implementing partner to the rice value chain transformation, project since its inception in 2019. As an IP, the first thing we went into with the project is the signing of an MOU, that is Memorandum of Understanding. Going by the project document, as an IP, we're supposed to implement certain activity within the project appraisal document, which has to do with capacity building of the farmer associations the projects are supposed to deal with during the project's life cycle. After the signing of the MOU, the first activity we did with the project, of course, in 2020 was to go and assess, to do a thorough assessment of this farmer association, preferably in the project intervention sites, that is CRR, both North and South, and URR. So after the assessment, we did this assessment to go and find out the potential farmer groups that could be transformed into cooperatives, because the project wanted to deal with cooperatives, during the project life cycle. And as you may know, that mandate is under the purview of this service unit. So when we did that assessment, we came out to find out that 15 were already registered as a cooperative, both in CRR and URR. And then we need to, try to mobilize the rest of the farmer association so that they will also be organized, registered as cooperative.
In order to improve the quality of rice and maintain standards, the project works closely with the Gambia Standards Bureau.
project is going fine. The partnership is smooth, and we are currently moving towards rice certification, and we will develop a certification mark for scheme so that all rice that is being produced in this country here after being harvested, we will do a quality check, we will inspect, we will test, and if it conforms with the standards, then we will provide a certification. And that certification mark will increase assurance to the general public that this rice has met some standards, and will also help in terms of access to both local and international markets. And the other thing that we are also doing is to support in terms of measurement, in terms of calibration, the weighing devices that we use for both the farmers and the processes, because we don't want people to be using buckets, pans to be measuring the quantities. We want it to be measured. But in as much as you are using a weighing device, that weighing device also needs to be calibrated so that it is traceable to the international SI units. So we have the reference standards, and we are currently doing some of the calibrations, and we will sensitize farmers on the science of measurement so that all the rice being produced here will, in terms of quantities, there will be no cheating between the traders, the seller, the farmer, and so on. So they'll be using weighing devices instead of the traditional buckets, pans, and so on. So in conclusion, standard development, it takes a lot of processes, and it is in stages. Usually, sometimes it lasts about 6-7 months before you can have a standard, because standard development has leading stages. You have from one stage to the other, and you cannot jump a stage, so it is time consuming. And one of the other things that we are having as a challenge for now is getting the lab that should do the test in country. I think that is also something to be considered maybe in the next phase, that we have a strong lab wherein we will do all the conformity assessment services in country to save costs from the farmers.
If you look at the rice value chain project, it's a project that is introduced into this country to change the scenario of rice production. Because in the past, what used to happen, people only cultivate rice mainly for subsistence. That is, you cultivate what your household or your family can consume. And the Gambia as a country, we import a lot of rice. So rice value chain has come to change that scenario by introducing commercial oriented rice production, which means our people not only produce rice for subsistence, but also to produce more than enough which can be sold, and the whole process can be commercialized. So that's what the rice value chain has come to do. And their collaboration with NARI, so we are also helping, working with the project to make sure that this becomes a reality. So if you look at the project, they are promoting two different set of rice varieties, the Orilox 6 and Nerica L19. These are commercial oriented rice varieties, which have been screened and accepted at the sub-regional level. So it has been introduced into the country to go to the farmers. So any variety that is coming into the country, is the mandate of NARI to look at that variety, to conduct research on the variety, to look at its adaptability and in our local conditions, so that we can also give it a green light. So our first set of collaboration with the rice value chain transformation project is to conduct a local evaluation on those varieties.
The project has numerous implementing partners, and National Secretariat is one of the implementing partners of the project as far as seed production is concerned. So our collaboration with the Rice Value Chain Transformation Project is through an MOU, in which all that we're supposed to do for a particular year is spelled out clearly and budgeted as our guiding document as far as the implementation of those activities for that particular year are concerned. So in 2020, we signed an MOU with the project, and the MOU seeks to address outcome number 1 of the project. I think the project has 3 outcomes, but for us, NSS, all that we do for the project is geared towards addressing outcome number 1 of the project, which is to increase rice production and productivity in the Gambia. So under that outcome, we have 3 outputs that we need to work on for us to be able to address this outcome number 1, that is increasing production and productivity of rice. So output number 1 talks about certified seed production to enhance access by farmers, and output number 2 talks about the technology generation and dissemination aspect, and output number 3 deals with support to the national seed system. So in 2020, when we started, under each of these outputs, some activities were implemented. First of all, we implemented a certified seed production activity, through which we were able to produce about 59 metric tons of certified rice seeds of the 2 varieties that the project seeks to promote within the next 5 years, which are Orilog 6 and Narika L19 sub 1. That was done, and during the implementation of that activity, a series of field activities were also, sub-activities were conducted, because in certified seed production, it involves field inspections, it involves monitoring by management, it involves sampling, it involves laboratory analysis, it involves supervision of packaging, and all these things were done accordingly. And at the end of the season, we were able to produce 59 metric tons for the project as a start.
Actually, it's a good project in the sense that the implementation process, the Department of Agriculture is right involved in the implementation of the project activities at rural level. And I'm definitely impressed with the level of implementation. The project here comes to help our smallholder farmers to enhance their production and productivity capacity. The project actually assisted the smallholder farmers in area of giving them seeds and fertilizer, provision of small farm machineries, such as mini combine harvesters, power tillers, milling machines, threshing machines. All is geared towards enhancing the production capacity of our farmers. By extension, improving on their lives and their livelihoods. And coming to the area of collaboration, there is that strong collaboration that exists between the Department of Agriculture and that of the Rice Value Transformative Project, because the projects here are to complement government efforts. And looking at the National Development Plan, one of the key commodities that actually captured is rice, because we realize that rice is our staple food, and what we are importing from rice is huge when it comes to monetary value. So the project has come to reduce that importation. And the rice value chain also having IPs within the Department of Agriculture. One of them is the Agri-Engineering Services Unit that provide training for the operators of those machines that were supplied to smallholder farmers. We also have the agribusiness sector, which also give training to farmers, especially the cooperative rice producers, in terms of business management skills, to see how best they can produce, how best they can market their product, and how the producers can be linked to the buyers. So that's the functions of the agribusiness. And all these activities is being enhanced in terms of resources by the rice value chain. So that's why I said the collaboration is really excellent, in the sense that whatever they are doing in relation to agriculture, the Department of Agriculture is involved in it. And when it comes to the department itself, the rice value chain have actually strengthened the department. One of it, training of the extension workers. They have trained quite a number of extension workers at field level. So in short, the implementation level of activities by the rice value chain is quite excellent. We also have field days in collaboration with the project management unit. The field day is here to showcase the new technologies that has been practiced by farmers at regional level. And one of the varieties that the project is now looking into is the Orilus 6 and Nerica 19 sub 1. These are rice varieties that are tolerant to flood, that are high yielding. And the aroma of Orilus 6 is quite excellent.
The program also seeks to help farmers on income generated from the buyback of the certified seeds at $35 per kilogram, access to certified quality seeds and fertilizer, training on FFS program, desilting of canals for access water, mechanization to reduce the labor-intensive nature of rice production, provision of 11 mini combine harvesters and 44 power tillers to 4 youth service centers set up by the Rice Value Chain Transformation Program. Other public institutions such as National Agricultural Research Institute, Department of Agriculture, the National Seed Secretariat, regional directorates of Ministry of Agriculture, and other relevant directorates in the project areas also actively participate within the project activities based on their core mandates and benefit from the project interventions in terms of capacity building. The Rice Value Chain Transformation Program, striving to improve rice production and productivity in the Gambia.